Hello. How are you, everybody? Fantastic to see you here. Q&A Thursday, 28th of September 2017. Wow, the days are flying by. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to do some housekeeping to start with. I just want to make sure that everyone can see and hear me. So in the comments bar below, I reckon I've got some technical issues. We are going to try again. Stand by. I'm not sure. I'm going to write on here, guys, see and hear me. Okay, let's try that again. Yay! You can see and hear me now. Thank goodness. Okay. Goodness gracious. That was hard work. I don't know why that was such hard work. But anyway, thank goodness you're here. Welcome to Q&A Thursday, 28th of September 2017. Really excited to have you guys here. Thank you for joining me. Tom, I can see you're on the line. Flick, you're on the line. Welcome. Okay, not sure what happened this morning. We were having some technical issues with the internet earlier today, but we thought we had fixed them all. And I don't know what's going on. But anyway, as long as you can see and hear me now, that is the main thing. All right, we've got some exciting stuff to share with you today. And it's all about why do my team hate me? So we're going to have a look at the reasons why, and we're going to go a little bit into a bit of a deeper dive if that is really the case. Then we'll have the 10 top reasons why team members don't like their leaders. So we'll have a look at that, and maybe that'll resonate with you and it'll make you think, oh, maybe I'll do a couple of these things. And let me tell you, full disclosure, I did these as well. So, you know, some of these were really me all over. So it was really good to get that feedback. It was really good to have that sort of awareness about it. And then we were able to do something about it. So I'm hoping this will help you guys as well. All right. So Flick, can you still see and hear me? Just, I've got a red light on the camera, so I'm hoping that that's not a bad thing. Tom, can you see and hear me? Yes, okay, you're still there. Fantastic. All right, good one. Okay, so what we're going to talk about, as I said, is why do my teams hate me? So I am going to share my screen with you. I'm going to, Tom can hear me too, good. Well done, Tom, thank you for that. I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully this will all work perfectly well. I'm sure it'll be fine. So bear with me for 5 seconds. It might have to be a bit longer than that because it looks like my whole computer has got rid of, this is fantastic, got rid of the PowerPoint slides that I had up, but that's okay because we can get them back up without any problems. So bear with me for a little bit longer than I thought. And while you're there, you can ask me any questions that you might have. So if you've got any questions, any thoughts, anything that you want to ask specifically, then please ask away. No, it's not going to come through. That's okay. We don't have to do it through the slides. I'll just talk to you about it. Okay, so first off, when we're talking about why do my team hate me, what I really want to focus in on is, do they really hate you? Honestly, I mean, is it something that you're just feeling because you're feeling a bit vulnerable, or has there been a couple of comments from a couple of people that has made you feel like that's the case for the whole team? So let's try and get it in. Just can't wait to hear these 10 things. Okay, I'm coming to them. Okay, so yeah, so just trying to get it into perspective. Okay, so it might be just a couple of team members that are being a little bit oppositional or pushing back on you, or team members, I mean. So it also could be the role that you're playing. So previous leaders for that team might have been really difficult to get on with. They might have been micromanagers. There might have been all sorts of things. So therefore, it might not be you specifically. It might be the role that you're playing has had these, you know, really bad thoughts in the past. So therefore, you're just sort of going to bear the brunt of that for a while until you can prove otherwise. So that's kind of where it could be. Sometimes you feel like you're a little isolated or alone, and that can be really, really hard because the team members have got the team to sort of bounce ideas and have chats to, but who do you have? You don't have anybody there to bounce ideas off. So sometimes that can be really, really difficult. But if after all this reflection, if you put it in perspective, if you sort of pinned it down to a couple of people, or it might not be, if you've tried to look at the role and taken yourself personally out of it, if you still think, oh no, my team hate me, let's talk about the 10 main reasons why teams don't like their leaders. And let's see if any resonate with you. And as I said, full disclosure, I have been guilty of some of these behaviours in the past, even myself. So please don't be precious about it. Everybody has done them at some point or other. If they resonate with you, if it's something that you go, oh, you know what, I do that, maybe it's something that you can change. Maybe that's something that you can do differently. Anyway, so the first one, number 1 out of the 10, you don't prioritise. So if everything is important, if everything has high importance, you remove your team's ability to say no, and you remove their ability to be able to prioritise and focus on the areas that are most important. So if everything, every project that comes down, every idea that comes down, every change that comes down, if they all have equal importance, then you will have a workforce that is absolutely fatigued and they won't have any direction. So it's really, really important that you prioritise the tasks as they come through. Have your top 3 focus ones that need to be done, and then prioritise the others accordingly. And almost force yourself, if you can, to put the tasks in a high, medium and low type prioritisation. And that can be based on timeliness of when they need to be due. It could be based on the critical elements of it, like how much is it going to impact? Is it going to save you millions of dollars, or is it just going to make the canteen look better, whatever it may be. So really, really make sure that you can get the tasks together in front of you, prioritise them yourself in high, medium and low, and then be able to convey that to your teams in a really easy to follow sort of manner. But what I would say to you is you cannot have everything of high importance. You really can't. So you take the team's ability away to be able to find direction and focus if you do that. So that's number 1. Number 2, your team's just a number. So you don't know their family situation, you don't know their likes, you don't know what football team they come from. As far as you're concerned, that person works on that machine over there and that person works over there. And then you treat them like that. So if you don't know anything about them, if they're just a person that's in your team, then you're going to find that the team members are not going to want to spend a lot of time with you. They're not going to want to have you around very much because you don't care. That's what they will think, that you don't care. That might not be the case, but that's how the perception will be for them. So take the time out to sort of have those couple of chats, have some downtime, have a coffee with them, find out what their kids are doing at school, find out what football team they follow. Just have a bit of interest. It has to be genuine. It has to be authentic. But it's really, really good if they're just not a number or a particular machine operator. They actually have a life behind that. That makes all the world a difference. So number 1 was you need to prioritise. Number 2 is make sure your team is not just a number. All right. Number 3 is that you don't fight for them. So when is the last time that you went into bat for one of your team members? You need to stand up for them. If they don't feel like that you've got their back, if they don't feel like that you're going to stand up for them of something that's really, really important, then you're going to lose trust in that team, which is going to be really, really difficult. So identify something that you should have gone on the mat for them for. So say something in the past has happened and your team got the blame and actually it really wasn't, but you didn't say too much about it. Find something that you already did, have a think about how you would do that differently and talk to your team and just say, look, you know what, guys, I don't think I was on the ball here. I should have actually nipped that in the bud. This is what I should have done. I apologise. Let's make sure that we do that in the future going forward. Just get it out there and then fight for them. If there's something that's going on, your team's getting some sort of knockback, pushback, whatever, you don't think it's justified, then go in there. Go in there and have a little bit of fight for them, and that will make a difference. So if the team members don't feel like their leader has got their back, that's one really, really big reason why they don't like that leader. They don't trust them. They don't have my back. They're not going to fight for me, all those sorts of things. That's just something that you need to think about. So number 4, this is if you talk about work-life balance, but then you don't do it. So I had a leader who was in the packaging department in this big firm, and he used to talk about how he wanted his team members, their health and well-being was really, really important to him. He wanted to make sure that they were all safe and feeling good about themselves. He wanted to make sure they had time for their families. But he used to get into work at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and he wouldn't leave till 7:30 at night. He wouldn't stop through lunch. If he wanted a coffee, he'd have a coffee while he was running around doing bits and pieces. And what he didn't realise is the impact of that and how that had on his team. So when I went and spoke to his team, they said, we hide at lunchtime because we don't want him to see us actually eating our lunch. There was people there that used to want to go home at 5:30 but knew he was still there, so they would leave their bag there so it looked like they were still there, but then sneak out the door because they had to go pick up kids and do whatever. I mean, this is the impact that it had on his team. So I had to have a chat to that leader and sort of say, do you expect your people to have lunch breaks? And he said, of course I do, absolutely. I said, do you expect your people to work 12, 13 hours a day when they're actually only getting paid for 7.6? No, absolutely not. So his intent was good, but what he was showing as to be an example was making the team feel like they needed to follow that example. So don't talk work-life balance and then don't practice it. You need to practice it yourself. So make sure that either curb your bad habit of not being in balance and not doing it right, or just, you know, have a chat to your team about how important it is and how you're going to do your best to try and make an example of that. So, yeah, work-life balance, don't just talk it, live it. Okay, what are we up to? I think we're up to number 5. Number 5 is that you never relax. So you've always got your serious face on. You've always got, you know, that level of control, that level of power, that level of, you know, always being in charge. So I had in here some notes, and I'm not going to read them out because it's something about a potato chip wedged between your butt cheeks, but let's not go there. But this is when you're uptight all the time. This is when, you know, you can't seem to relax. And that has a huge influence over your team because they can't have fun at work. They can't relax. They can't, you know, cool their heels and, you know, get in and get stuck in when the work's there. But when the work's not there, you know, be able to relax and take things a little bit easier and have a bit of rapport and all that sort of stuff. If you're not showing it, then they're not going to do it. So that's really, really important. You need to learn to relax. If you never relax, your team will never relax. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I'm not clicking too much. Yeah, so if you're relaxed, then it's okay for your team to relax. So that's just something you need to be aware of. Okay, do you micromanage is number 6. Do you micromanage? Do you know every detail of what your team is working on? Do you know exactly where they're up to, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and who they're liaising with? Because if you do, that's too much detail. You don't need to be in that much detail. You need to determine of all your team who has been there the longest, got the most experience and can go off, and all you need to do is give them guidance and support. And then who are the team members that will need extra help from you? So they might need that little bit of a closer mentoring, if you like. But not all of them need it, okay? So try and judge that really, really well. And if you don't know, ask them. Ask your team members. I know you're on project XYZ. It's a pretty heavy project. Tell me what support you need from me. Ask them. Because they'll tell you. They might say, you know what, I'm going really well at the moment. I'll just come and see you on a weekly basis and give you an update. Or they might say, do you know what, I'm struggling. I might need a couple of resources or whatever it may be. But if you know every detail of what they're working on, then that may be bordering on control freak, and you need to pull that back a little bit. You know, even if this takes you really outside your comfort zone and you really want to know what's going on, pick a couple of low risk projects and give it to your team and then back off and just let it go. It's low risk, that it's not going to cause any damage if they get it wrong, all those sorts of things. So you can mitigate your risk and feel comfortable in that, but you can allow them to go and do these projects without you looking over their shoulder and breathing down their neck. So that can give you a little bit of insight on how things can happen. And things might not always be done the way you do them, and that's okay. But, yeah, try not to micromanage if you can, because that's a big non-like from team members. All right, the next one. This one I haven't seen a great deal, but I know that it's something that the team members hate. So if you're more concerned with your boss than you are of them, so if you are continually trying to please the boss, trying to make yourself known, trying to, that's your main focus and concern, then this demonstrates to your team that you don't have their back, that you're willing to progress your career, but you're not really giving a toss about theirs. So therefore, that will be a big no-no for them. They will not like you at all. So the fix, yes, you are not a funnel, right? You are a filter. So if the boss comes down with some information and you know the guys are working flat out already, or the girls or the team are working flat out already, and they're just not going to be able to put this in, don't say yes. Say to your boss, you know what? We've got project this, 2, 3, and 4. You're bringing in project number 5. Help me know which one of these we are going to get rid of before you bring that one in, because my people don't have any more capacity. Push back. Push back. Your boss will like you for it anyway, and your team will love you for it, okay? So try not to be more concerned about being a yes man for the boss than you are looking after the back of your team, the backs of your team. Okay, the next one we've got, and I've seen this a lot, not so much recently, but when I started in the team leader coaching and I was in the military, we saw this a lot. And this is about you're treating your team like mushrooms. So knowledge is power to you. You keep them in the dark. You only feed them the limited amounts of information that you think that they need, and then you keep everything to yourself. So they're going off willy-nilly doing these projects. They have no idea why. They have no idea about what impact it's going to have. They don't have any idea on what influence it's going to have on anything else or any other department, because you've kept all that to yourself. Now, if you withhold things from people, then what it does is it makes them mistrust you. Okay, so knowledge is not power if you don't use it correctly. Knowledge shared amongst your team, and I'm not saying you have to tell them every single thing that comes down the line, but if it's something to do with their projects, if it's going to impact them at all, then share that knowledge, share what's going on. Because if you feel that knowledge is power and you're going to hold back and you're just going to drip feed bits that you think, then you're going to lose all trust in your team, because they'll hear things around the tracks anyway, and then you haven't told them about it first, and then, it all turns to muddy water after that. So just remember, don't treat them like mushrooms, okay? Feed them with all the information that they need up front, and then keep reiterating that stuff as it changes or if there's tweaks to it. Really, really important. So where are we up to? I reckon we're up to number 8. Right. Number 8 is you're above getting your hands dirty. So if you sit back in your ivory tower and you're great at assigning the work and delegating it out, but for you don't want to do any, then that is going to be a big watch out for your team. Especially if there has come to a point where they need your help. Something's gone amiss, something's gone awry, the maintenance team haven't worked, maintenance team haven't turned up, a machine's down, or the sales have bottomed out, or whatever. If you're not going to get in there and pull up your sleeves and have a little go, then I think that's going to be looked at in a way, well, team members just won't tolerate it. They won't help you if you can't help them. So roll up your sleeves, pick a smaller project if you need to, and do the project yourself. So you're going to chip a little bit out and do the little project yourself. If you're already doing some projects but you're not sharing that with the team and they can't see you do it, well, then show them. Say, you know what, I am getting my hands dirty. I'm working on this part of the project. This is what I've done so far. You guys have done that. At the end, we're going to put them together and we'll have a really good product. So if you don't like to get your hands dirty, have a think about just tackling a small project yourself. If you are doing it, but you're not telling your team, so they're not aware of it and they're going to perceive you differently, then just let them know, hey, you know what, I'm working on that bit as well. And it's working well for us. So when we get together, we can, put it all together and it'll be a great project. So that's another thing that team members hate of their team leaders. And the last but not least, but I think it's probably the biggest one, is that you can't make a decision. So if you're indecisive, maybe yes, no, I don't know, maybe let's have a think about it, you know, all that sort of stuff. You need to make a decision. Your team will follow you if you can make decisions. It doesn't even matter if they're bad ones. As long as you learn from them and move on, you need to make some decisions. Acknowledge that you're going to make some mistakes sometimes. That's what we all do, and that's okay, right? But just you need to stop sitting on that fence getting splinters, because your team is not going to trust you for it. They're not going to trust your decision making if you're willy-nilly and going back and forth. They're also not going to respect you for it, because they're looking for you for guidance. They're looking for you for direction. If you keep going, oh, we go, oh no, we go, oh, maybe we'll go this way, then that's not a direction. Okay, so really have a think about your decision-making skills and see if we can, you know, tune them up a little bit. So what did we have? We had, first off, you were going to analyse if they really did hate you, or is it something that you're perceiving because you're feeling a bit vulnerable, lonely, isolated, or is it the role that you're in that previous leaders perhaps didn't treat the team as nicely as you would like, so therefore it's the role, not the particular person that's getting targeted. But if all that, you sort of still feel like you're being hated, so have a look at the 10 things that, 10 things that team members hate about their boss. First, you don't prioritise, so everything has the highest importance. The second one is your team is just a number, so you don't know anything about them and you don't really want to know, you have no interest in knowing. Number 3, you don't fight for them or you don't have their back, so then they don't feel like that you're there for them. Number 4, you talk about work-life balance, but you don't actually practice it, so then they can't practice it either because you're their example. Number 5, you never relax, so you're always serious, you're always in work mode. Nothing is ever, a bit more fun or a bit at ease. I'm sure there's times in the workplace where you have a little bit more time to be able to be a little bit more easy. So have a think about that one. Number 6, micromanaging. Do you look over their shoulders and breathe down their necks 24/7? If you do, back off. Number 8, are you more concerned with your boss than you are with them? So are you looking forward in your career going, yes, 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 and the people that are actually suffering are your team? So have a think about that. Number 9, I think we're up to. 9 is you believe that knowledge is power. Oh no, we're up to number 8. Anyway, you believe that knowledge is power. So then you need to, you want to have control over all the knowledge. So you just drip feed little bits of information. That is seen as somebody who is not to be trusted. So if somebody doesn't trust you or respect you, they're not going to like you. It's as simple as that. So I lost the count. Anyway, you don't like to get your hands dirty, right? So you sit in the ivory tower, you delegate, you great assigning work to others, but then you don't want to do anything yourself. So every now and then get your hands dirty, pull your sleeves up, go down, start a small project and make sure that, you're seen to be, hey, I'm not part of the team as in the team members. However, I am willing to get my hands dirty and pull my sleeves up when the situation arises. And then the last one, but probably the biggest one, is you can't make a decision. So you're sitting on that fence getting splinters. You really need to start making the decisions. And again, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. So it's just a matter of making sure that you've got all the information you need, making a firm decision, feeling good about that decision. And if someone says, you know what, that was a poor decision, you can go, okay, tell me why that was a poor decision, because I need to learn, why that was a poor decision. All right. So there was your 10 things. I hope that some of that resonated with you. If you're feeling in this space of, my team don't like me, maybe there's some things in there that you can take away with you and go, all right, I'm going to pull back on this a little bit, or I'm going to really try harder in that way. Be quite transparent with it. Say, make sure that your team know, hey, I'm doing this leadership role. I'm learning as I go. Would love your feedback. So make sure that you do that a lot. And try those 10 things. I'd love to see how you go with them. So make sure you either get onto the Facebook page or ask at teamleadertoolkit.com and let me know, because I'd love to see how you've gone with those and what sort of changes you're going to make or what you think you're going to make. All right. Fantastic. What do you think? Flick, Tom, what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Was there any in there I missed? They were awesome. Excellent. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed them. All right. Wish there were more people on to hear them. Excellent. Well, hopefully we've recorded it. So, okay. Let me know if you think of anything else. That'd be brilliant. So that's it. So without further ado, yes, you are. All right. Okay. So without further ado, I don't think there is anybody else on, is there? Yes, interesting. Okay, that's all right. We've got it pre-recorded, so it's good. Hopefully the pre-recording comes out okay. All right, thanks, Flick, for joining us. And I'm going to pre-record next week's because I'm actually going to be in Sydney. So next week's is all going to be about how to manage somebody that you don't like. Okay, so that's going to be a really good one because there's lots of people that have teams of lots of different personalities, and there's some personalities that that you get on with really well and some that you don't. So it'd be really, really good that, you know, you come and join me next week. It'll be pre-recorded. I'll load it up into the email for you guys so you can watch it anytime you like. And we will, she's going yellow and black. She's going for the Tiger football team. Whatever. I don't even know who's playing because West Coast was kicked out. Anyway, okay, so next week, so don't miss it because it's all about how to lead a person in your team that you actually don't like. And let's face it, it happens all the time, okay? Let's not shy away from that. Okay, excellent. All right, go for your football team. Go for your football team. Flick, lovely to hear from you. And we will catch you next week for Q&A Thursday. Bye, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.